Good morning and welcome to Dr. Lamba's Sunday Special, where he explains Sikhism. Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru, the last in the line of the living Sikh Gurus, as I said last time, was a great multi-faceted personality, a poet, a philosopher, a leader, and a spiritual leader at that. But he is best known for his warlike behavior and his warrior skills. However, he was not a typical warrior of his time. As a matter of fact, he set up certain principles, certain concepts that were quite novel at that time, but they are the base of the modern warfare. He was much ahead of his time, visionary as he was. A little over 30 years down the line, he made his first pivotal move to cement Sikhism as a religion. But he did not cut his roots with Hindu culture, with the Indian philosophy, rather enhanced it by combining with it the Persian, the Arabic, and the Indian culture, the Hindu culture. This was his capability that he transformed lethargic community of Hindus into a virile army of people who could fight and fight to win. This transformation of personality, especially of the lower classes, because his first Panch Pyara, first five disciples, the first people who became Khalsa, were mostly from the depressed Dalit classes, depressed classes, the classes that had been marginalized. And then he called his fight Dharm Yudh. Concept was that it's a religious warfare, but not religious in the sense of cult warfare. It was religious in the sense of integrity, honesty. The concept of Dharma Yudh has been very, very potent in India. But the way he transformed it, he made it a fight for the justified rights of humanity. A fight for the defense of righteousness. And the principles of the warfare that he talked of in Dharma Yudh have a close, uncanny resemblance to the Western theory of the just war these days. The Western just war is essentially Dharma Yudh, as initiated, explained, and worked on by Guru Gobind Singh. It's not to say that there were no rules set earlier in the war. There were, even in Mahabharata, if you see. It was a accepted thing that, okay, the war will come to an end when the sun sets. But these rules were violated. And secondly, the war was wired to finish. Everybody could be killed, and everything was fair in love and war, but not to Guru Gobind Singh. His concept of just war, a Dharma Yudh dictates, number one, civilians would not be harmed during the war. Now, the Fourth Geneva Convention, which was adopted in 1949, dictates the same thing. But that happened only after the Second World War, and Guru Gobind Singh had done it in the 16th, 400 years back. And look at the vision of the man, that what the people thought, after 400 years, he thought at that time that why should the civilians, who are not combatants, why should they suffer? Secondly, the principle was the minimum force needed to success should be used. There should be no excessive use of force. That has not been used even today, as a matter of fact. It was a conservation of society, conservation of materials, conservation of capabilities. And as a matter of fact, some armies today have started adopting it, the same principle today. But use of this principle 4 centuries back was absolutely novel. As a matter of fact, even now, for example, Russia believes in scorched earth policy, and they used it in the Second World War. Ukraine is using the same technology, philosophy today, destroying their own thing, immaterial, that the public is suffering. And in the war, we can see when the bombing takes place, or when the missiles are fired, they don't differentiate it between the combatant and the non-combatant. But Guru Gobind Singh was clear. And then, even in killing, he was compassionate. Possibly most of the people are not aware. But it is said that all his arrows were tipped with gold. 10 grams of gold was with that arrow. The purpose was that when the person dies, the family should not be destitute. That sort of a compassion we don't find anywhere but in him. As a matter of fact, it was a humanistic war. It was a war to end evil, not to kill people. And Guru Gobind Singh was lauded during that time, being one of the few known personalities to provide first aid to the wounded. I talked about the story of Kanhaiya. He was a Sikh. And he started giving water to the soldiers. He will give to the Sikh soldiers who were wounded or dying, and he will give it to the Muslim soldiers, the Mughal soldiers, the enemy soldiers. He didn't differentiate, and some Sikhs got annoyed and angry, and they complained to Guru Gobind Singh that what is this man doing? He is going around in the battlefield and giving water to everybody, even to the enemies. And those enemies who are on the verge of dying survive, get refreshed, and come back and fight with us. So Guru Gobind Singh summoned Bhai Kanhaiya. And Bhai Kanhaiya came to him. And Guru asked him, well, why are you doing it? And he said, sir, when I am giving water, I am not differentiating between the Sikhs and the non-Sikhs, between our soldiers and their soldiers. In each one of the suffering person, I see your face, your image. And I give water. Guru Gobind Singh got up, embraced him, and he said, what you are doing is absolutely proper. Here, take the ointment. He gave him the salve, the ointment. He says, apply it on the wounds of the people as well. Not only give them water. And don't bother whether they are enemy soldiers or our own soldiers. Now, this was the seed of the Red Cross which happens today. Applying, giving, Medicare, water, sustenance to the soldiers. Now, Sir Philip Sidney is quite eulogized, praised, because he gave his water to a dying soldier, but he gave it to soldier who was fighting on his side, not on the enemy side. This is the first instance, or rather the only instance in the history of the humanity, till Red Cross became a monolith in Europe, that a commander, military commander, which was Guru Gobind Singh, asked his people to give solace, Medicare, and water even to the dying and the wounded enemy. Now, can anything be more human than that? I don't think so. And then his principle for fighting. जो लड़े दीन के हेत सूरा सोई. He who fights for righteousness is a real brave man. And not a person who fights for the falsehood. So that, in fact, has a germ, what we call nowadays, conscientious objector. Your conscience doesn't permit you to fight, so you don't fight. And because if you think the thing is not right, refuse to fight. So this concept of fighting for the righteousness, then जो लड़े दिन के है सूरा सोई, सूरा सो पहचानने है जो लड़े दिन के है, पुर्जा पुर्जा कट मरे कबू न छोड़े के. He can die, he can, from limb to limb he can die, but he will not leave the field without winning or dying. So the whole concept was righteousness. Whole concept was the innocent must not suffer. The whole concept was humanity, human feelings must be preserved. Then another thing. Earlier the war, the defeated soldiers, or the soldiers who were defeated were treated as slaves, as vassals. They were ill-treated. They were not fed. They were put in jail. He said, no. Soldiers who surrender shall not be harmed. Now, while war crimes are recognized today, at that time it was not recognized. Only most of the time they would either shoot them down or take them away and make them live as slaves. Guru Gobind Singh refused to do that. He said nothing doing. They have surrendered, and anybody who surrenders comes under your protection. So you have got to protect them. So the prisoners of war concept of the Geneva Convention was practiced by Guru Gobind Singh way back, as I said, 4 centuries back. The purpose is, the war, as I said earlier, was not to win territory. It was not to defeat the empire. It was to set the empire right. The Mughal Empire had started erring on the side of narrow-minded sectarian approach. And Guru Gobind Singh wanted to tell them, look here, you have got to be just. You have got to ensure that even your enemy is a human being created by the same God. So, the just war, what we call today, he called Dharam Yudh. Non-combatants not to be considered, prisoners of war not to be harmed, enemy soldier to be provided medical and food and sustenance, no looting of the people, of the innocent people. And that is possibly the only time when this did not take place. As a matter of fact, even after that, after Guru Gobind Singh, when Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali came to India, they looted like anything. But he refused to do that. He has nothing doing. And he told his Sikh army to protect the poor, to protect the innocent, the non-combatant. So, his concept, 400 years back, as a matter of fact, at one of the conferences under some moment, I said, Geneva Convention made a mistake. They should have paid homage to Guru Gobind Singh's philosophy and acknowledged that his ideas are going to be implemented today. It was in 1963, a review of the Vienna Convention was taking place, and I said that. Because the person who gave that idea originally of what is contained in the Geneva Convention and then in the Vienna Convention, that person must have been acknowledged. Unfortunately, he was not, and even the Sikh leaders have not done enough to propagate this aspect. They talk that he created Khalsa, but the lines on which Khalsa was trained to fight, That is much more important. So much so that 40 people, when the Chamkaur was being defeated, they said, came to him and they said, okay, we cannot fight. Now he could have ordered the other Sikhs to kill them. No, he said, okay, you don't want to fight, go. So they gave him a letter, we are no longer your Sikhs. And they left Chamkaur. When they reached Mukassar, of course, a lady, Mai Bhago, taunted them, gave them the bangles to wear, put on the bangles, and now we will go and fight. And then they were shamed in this way, so they said, no, we will fight. Then they fought. All 40 of them died. Guru Gobind Singh also had reached there by that time. Mai Bhago and then Guru Gobind Singh embraced them, forgave them. But he did not punish them for being conscientious objectors. As a matter of fact, defectors would even today be punished. In USA we have seen it, what happened in Vietnam War, when anti-Vietnam War demonstrations were taking place, the people were being imprisoned. During the time of war, if the deserter is there, he is shot dead. But no, Guru Gobind Singh said, okay, if you don't think that this is a fight for the righteousness, you have got every right not to fight. And that gave a sense of integrity to the fight and honesty to the fight. So the concept of just war, propagated by Guru Gobind Singh, the concept of human rights, propagated by Gobind Singh, the right to conscientiously object to the war and protection of the innocent, providing medicare and the sustenance to the enemy. All these concepts, which we call modern, had been used 4 centuries back by Guru Gobind Singh, and we owe a sense of gratitude to that person that he could think much ahead of his time. That's why I always say Guru Gobind Singh was not for that time, he was for all the times to come. Thank you.